Today I'm going to show you how we do a vinyl chip epoxy garage floor. Hey, my name is Tim with Decorative Concrete of Virginia. I make a lot of videos like this one, so if you're enjoying this and you want to see more like it, then hit the subscribe button down below. This garage floor has a lot of sealer on it. Our larger commercial grinders are tied up on another project, so we're going to have to improvise with our smaller grinder to be able to get this sealer off of the concrete. So we added some weights to the grinder to give it more head pressure, then we also threw sand on the floor, which will help to keep the sealer from sticking to the diamonds as it grinds it off the floor. If you're a homeowner and you're trying to do this floor in your own garage, then the same method should help with any grinder that you might rent at a rental store, but they probably won't like it if you put weights on their grinders. Now that the floor is prepped, we're going to mix our epoxy. The water-based epoxy kits that you typically see in Lowe's or Home Depot are usually around 50% solids, and that means that half of what you put on the floor actually evaporates into the air, and you're left with a floor coating that's pretty thin. We're using a 100% solids epoxy primer that actually has moisture vapor properties built in. We usually mix 3 gallons at a time, and the manufacturer recommends for it to be applied around 150 square feet a gallon, so we know that this batch has to cover exactly 450 square feet. And for comparison, the water-based DIY kits from Lowe's and Home Depot only require half of what we're using to cover the same 450 square feet. And like I said earlier, half of those kits are water and they evaporate into the air, so when it cures out, it would actually only be 25% as thick as the high solids epoxy we're applying today. Once we get the epoxy rolled on the floor, it's time to start broadcasting chips. We like to do a process that's called broadcasting to rejection. This garage is about 1,200 square feet, which means we're going to throw about 250 to 300 pounds of vinyl chips on this garage floor. We do this because it provides traction and it just looks better than a partial broadcast of chips. And just for comparison, the DIY kits would come with about 10 pounds of chips for this same size garage. Okay, before we finish the garage up, if you want a more in-depth tutorial about exactly what we're doing in this video, then I'll leave a link in the description down below. We're going to cover exactly what materials we're using, we're going to go over all the techniques in more detail, and we're going to cover all the tools that you need for the job. So if you want more info on that, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Okay, it's day 2 of this project, and it's time to clean all the excess chips off the floor. Once the floor is clean, we're ready to apply our polyaspartic urethane. We're going to mix up enough product so that we can apply it at 130 square feet per gallon. I mentioned earlier that we're putting this down at 130 square feet per gallon, and again, for comparison's sake, if you buy the clear coat, the DIY clear coat, they recommend that you put one kit of that down at 500 square feet per kit, and each kit is only like 2.5 quarts, which is, a little over half a gallon. And then you can't forget that it's a water-based kit, which means that half of that evaporates into the air. So when you put all of those things together, that means that the clear coat that we're using, once it's cured out, will be about 8 times thicker than the clear coat from a DIY kit. I didn't make this entire video just to complain about DIY kits. Not everyone wants to spend a few $1,000s in the garage, and that's completely understandable. But since we get called to remove and replace DIY epoxy systems all the time, I just wanted to point out that there's actually a huge difference in what professionals use and what you can get at the local DIY store. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it would help me out a lot if you'd hit the like button down below. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions at all about this process, leave me a comment and I'll make sure I get back with everybody. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.